unbelievable.
It was very unreal, you know. I think, and I just, I really couldn't believe it, and that's why I wanted to go in and just see him. And you know, it's like, Dad, are you really dead? You know. And when I took the sheet over, you know, he was there with the sheet over his face, over his body, and I just peeled back the sheet and I saw him. He was at peace. His body was cold.
So much for the lighter side.
And he was gone. And I kissed him, and I put the sheet back. And I walked out of the room. I think what I wanted to do is I just wanted to sort of say goodbye.
Looking back, Papa's death was the death of Nelson Avenue for Grandma. The kids were out of the house, and she was all alone.
I used to put a big chair against the door and sleep on the chair. In case anything would break in, I would hear I had a tough, but nobody knew.
Soon, Eddie and the 3 grandchildren would move to Florida, and now it was time to be with them. No more nights alone, sleeping on a chair against the door.
30 years of my life was there. 30 years to sit in one apartment.
And that brings us to today's Grandma, from Perosova all the way to Pine Tree Drive. In 1969, she moved to the cottage apartment above the garage of Eddie's new home. A few years later, Marty, Dorothy, and 2 more grandkids, April and Carlton, followed her down, and all the Gudinskis were united. And that's how it stands today.
No bad news by me.
And what a galaxy of Gudinski she shines upon. First, the junior Gs, baby boy Marty, daughter-in-law Dorothy, and grandchildren April and Carlton. Now on the senior side, it gets a bit sticky. We start with Eddie, daughter-in-law Mimi, and your first set of grandchildren, Seth, Pam, yours truly Brian, and Glenn. Now Glenn is married to Donna, and for you they have 2 great-grandchildren, Matthew and Leanne. Pam and husband Michael add to the great-grandkids total with Abby and Zachary. Seth and his wife Libby have your 5th great-grandchild, Naomi. And here she is in her full splendor, nearly the whole family together in her home. She fondly remembers her first time here.
I walked into this apartment. A dog wouldn't stay. A pig wouldn't stay.
But that was before Dad and Mimi got to work. Today, it is her little palace. And for the family, this little palace is full of a lifetime of memories. My first memory of you, Grandma, is when I was a baby and used to bathe me in the sink. Remember that? It felt so nice that even when I was twice the size of the sink, I insisted you wash me in there.
He is great.
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is her scrambling eggs, because she did that so many times over the years, and we used to always make fun about the way her arm would when she'd shake her arm, would flap. And even today we grab it and she laughs, even if she's not making eggs, because it's just like an inside joke.
The egg scramble.
I would remember, well, recently, just talking to her about this guy I was going out with. And then she starts telling me about when she was dating somebody back in Poland and just reminiscing about it and the similarities and how she could just, you know, she would just look at somebody and she says, well, he's for you or he's not for you, and just by like a first glance and just a 2-minute conversation to know the person and know things about the person that, you know, somebody who knows them for years wouldn't pick up.
When Grandma would come down with us during the winters, I remember, you know, she'd slave all day. You know, she'd be taking care of us, cooking for us, getting us to school. And at night, after dinner, after she'd get the whole place cleaned up, you could walk in like about an hour later, and there she'd be, the whole kitchen would be spotless, and there would be Grandma sitting in a chair with her hands flat on the table and her head down, just out cold, fast asleep.
I would save my lunch money, and so I could go to High Lie or Dog Track. And it's like, so I would not eat all day, so as soon as I came home from school, I would go up there and she'd always make me something.
I came over to the house and I had dinner, and she kept telling Pam, I like him. I like him. You like him? He's such a nice boy.
I think the first Yiddish term I ever learned was from my grandmother. And it was from when we would go to sleep at night and ask her for cookies, milk, more TV, anything to go to bed. And she'd say, "Gesundheit schlafen," and forget it. She'd say, just go to sleep and no way, you know.
Yeah, she used to make my lunch when I was working after I graduated college, and she always put a little juice in this little plastic jar, and she called it a shtickle schmeckle.
I don't think anything could have prepared me for her. I had no clue what she was saying when I met her, because her accent is so strong. And I never knew, I mean, I would just grin and laugh and smile at her, and I never knew anything what she was saying.
Hey, April, gain some weight, you're too thin. Don't go out with that guy, he's no good for you. Well, yeah, you know, the standard grandmother stuff, I guess.
Grandma's house is sort of a special place, Grandma Ida's house, isn't it? And when we go there, what do we usually find when we go to Grandma's house? Matt, what do we usually find when we go to Grandma's? Candy, yes. And what else?
Chocolate.
Chocolate, and what else? What else?
And drinks.
And lots of drinks, huh? Is Grandma's house a fun place to go?
Yeah.
I think we all have our favorites. Your favorite is?
Scrambled egg.
I make scrambled egg excellent.
Stuffed cabbage is one of them.
And I make stuffed cabbage. You know it.
My friends keep on asking about a chocolate cake.
And chocolate cake.
I think chocolate cake is probably I'm going to be so bold to say the family favorite. I mean, if I had to do a logo for my grandmother, it would be a chocolate cake. I mean, it's literally been the glue or the frosting that has kept this family together. Grandma, come to think of it, we'd like another chocolate cake.
A chocolate cake is in the freezer.
Oh, let's see.
If I haven't got a cake in the freezer, I'm out of business.
And let's not leave out April's favorite, your strudel.
It's too much for me. I can't.
We watched her, and my mom tried to write it down, and she's like, you can't, she does everything. Like, she has to have her cups and her thing, and she doesn't remember anything. She's just like this, pouring, putting a little bit in there, and you try to write it down, and you can't. And when you, like, watched it and wrote it down, it never tasted the same.
Okay, you'll get it. You just tell me when you're coming.
Grandma took special delight in remembering this story when Seth was younger and she had just made him his favorite meal, scrambled eggs and bagels.
He used to eat and he said, okay, Grandma, thank you, it was very good. I said, you know, Seth, did you ever think that Grandma's gonna get old? He says, do you think, Grandma, you're gonna live till 60 years and I'll have to take care of you? He says, for 60 years?
I asked Seth what he'll tell his own grandchildren about his grandma.
But mostly you just tell them how she was always around for you, and just that you could always count on her. And that's it.
When I think of my grandmother, I get all choked up too. I think I would tell them that she was when I think of love and a family. When I think of it, when I think of the way people should love each other, it's an unconditional love, and that I think of everyone in my life. I can truly say that this is a woman who has loved unconditionally. No rules, no bribes, you know, just from the heart. And she is a woman that I would like to aspire to become.
Today she's happy, but she's lonely. Her grandchildren are scattered and the family continues to extend away from her. The responsibility for her well-being, both physical and emotional, rests with one person, her son Eddie.
I think that Ida always told him that he would be somebody and he would be able to do something in life. And I suppose really that is a sort of a basic security that you hang on to during perilous times. And also I would think that it's sort of the cornerstone of the family. It's maybe the strength of the family.
He's still the greatest.
I want you to know that my mother is right. I am the greatest.
He's her son and her best friend rolled into one. And he's one more thing, her hero.
Sometimes I get mad, I tell him, what are you doing for me? You coming up once in the morning and you said hello and goodbye. So he gets mad. He says, okay, mother, that's finished, goodbye. He makes like this smile. I'll tell you, he makes like this. Then he goes down the steps, he says, Mama.
Bye, Grandma. Thanks for lunch.
Yeah.
We love you, Grandma.
Say nice to the people.
We love you, bye. We love you, Grandma.
She's worried about herself. She's getting older and she's worried about her health. But we try to say she's all right and she'll be all right, and she goes on.
It's beyond comprehension to conceive of a day she won't be with us. She is Chaya. She is life.
85, who's done 85?
She can't conceive of it either.
I don't think of it, because I have some kind of confidence that I'm not dying. So you don't count the money. Okay, bye-bye, we'll see you.
Mother, this was an exceptionally beautiful day that we had all here together. Your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren. The feeling came through that the values that you taught us, the parenting that you taught us, which we in turn passed on to our children, and the happiness that I've seen here today just gave me a very good feeling. These are the only important things in life, and I thank you for that.
Mom, one of the most rewarding experiences I think I've had has been in the last 2 weeks. The first being the time we spent in New York starting to film this tape for you, and going back not just to the old neighborhood, but being especially at the statue, where I could imagine you when you arrived in this country. The feelings that I had, I doubt if it could be, if I'll ever feel as close to you and Dad as I did at that time. I love you, Mom. Thank you.
I hope we'll see you next year at the same time.